check this out. If you work at an organization that already pays for the Microsoft 365 suite, you probably still call it Microsoft Office or just Office, whatever. You got a bunch of tools in there that you could create a stakeholder management plan or a stakeholder communication plan or a stakeholder register, whatever you want to call it. Highly likely you're going to spin up a spreadsheet when it's time to create that stakeholder list. But today I'm going to show you how to do it inside of SharePoint. Everything I'm about to show you, you already have at your fingertips. Just like how you already have Excel, you already have SharePoint. You can go and start doing this immediately, or you can start doing it alongside me as we, hop into the video. But I want you to know, I know there's mad different ways to have your templates. What I'm personally about is getting the work done. So you can still do it in Excel if you want to, but I'm showing you how to do it in SharePoint so you can work faster and more efficiently, right? To get your stakeholders, taken care of. So is there some crazy tool out there that manages stakeholders or whatever? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like I said, if you work at an organization that already pays for the 365 suite, you have SharePoint at your fingertips, instead of reaching for Excel, you know what I'm saying? Reach for SharePoint. Let's get that cooked up. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let's hop into it. All right, let's hop into the computadora here. So if you, matter of fact, here, let's just go to office.com. You're going to go to office.com. When you get to office.com, make sure you come up here and sign in. I'm already signed in. And then you can come over here, hit the app launcher, and go to SharePoint. Now, when you go to SharePoint, you're going to see whatever your organization has available to you on this page. I personally go to this site in my organization called a developer site where I just do, whatever I want over here. So when you get here, this is where you can create the list. Now, for a different video, I can show you how to do this right here in Microsoft Lists. But let me just say real quick, my quick explanation of Microsoft Lists versus SharePoint Lists. Let's just call Microsoft Lists your OneDrive of lists. Where in OneDrive, that's your stuff. So in Microsoft Lists, you can create your stuff. You can share it, no doubt, but it's where you can create your stuff. If you want to share stuff and do a lot of interaction with other people, then just create a SharePoint list. That's as far as I'll go for right now. I'm going to make a podcast, probably a video, all of that to explain lists versus SharePoint lists. Anyway, so we're on the team site right here, right? So when you're on the home page of your team site, just hit new, hit list. And then you'll see it depends on your organization. You could do it from a blank list, existing list, Excel, or CSV. And then they got mad templates, issue tracker, or employee onboarding, recruitment tracker, whatever, all of this stuff. Whole bunch of templates. We're going to do a blank one. I'm going to call this stakeholder. All right, you're going to see me do this later, but I'm going to call it Stakeholder Register without a space. List of stakeholders for the project, right? I'm not going to show the site in the navigation just yet. I'm going to unclick that, and I'm going to click Create. Okay, so the whole reason I even I removed the space out of Stakeholder Register is so that my URL right here wouldn't have any, funny characters in it. And then all I got to do is come here, click on that title, put the space on it, boom. Now I got Stakeholder Register with the space, but I still got the clean URL. That's just a little thing that I like to do. You don't got to do that, you know what I mean? Ain't no big thing. All right, so now let's start listing our stakeholders. This title right here, this title field, is like the main thing that you're tracking. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename this, because the title field comes with every list that you create. I'm going to rename this and call this stakeholder name. So we got stakeholder name. We're going to create a choice field and call that type. We don't have to call every field stakeholder and then the type of field or the name of the field. Instead of calling this stakeholder type, I'm just going to call it type, because everybody knows we're tracking stakeholders in this, right? So I'm going to say internal Then I'm going to say external. Then I'm going to get rid of this third choice, and I'm going to hit, wait, let me get me out of the way. I'm going to hit save. Oh, oops. So, okay, I forgot. Within SharePoint, there is an internal field called type, so you can't use type. I completely forgot about that. That's my fault. So here, we will call this stakeholder type. You know, little quirks. Little quirks. If you listen to the episode with me and Ami Diamond, the SharePoint Help Desk podcast, we talked about that. Those are one of them quirks. So let's keep it going. So I need another field, right? The field that I want now is stakeholder role. So what are they? Are they the project manager? Are they the executive sponsor? Are they a finance person or whatever? Like, what's their role in this project? So I'm going to create another choice field, and I'm going to call this role. And then we're going to say project manager. We're going to say executive sponsor. We're going to say finance lead or whatever. And then legal contact. And then, is that good? Oh yeah, and then end user. Yeah, that's my fault. So let me mention that too. The project is a new time management system. Like, you know, the same old example all the time. So we're doing a new time management system, and we need to have some stakeholders. There's going to be people who are using the tool. Those are the end users. How much money is it going to cost to get this new tool? Is this tool within compliance? Because, you know, HR's got to be involved, and HR is going to be like, well, we need to track this, this, and this when it comes to the timekeeping. Maybe the union might be involved because you don't want to be tracking specific things that, you know, employees are like, yo, what are you doing? Stuff like that. Leadership is involved because leadership is like, you know, still a small company, and they're like, listen, I want to make sure that, you know, we get a better system for tracking our time. It's a whole thing. So these are all of our stakeholders that I can think of. There's probably going to be more, but for our quick example here, we're just using those. All right. So I said roll, and then hit save. Boom. And every time you create a new list, a new column in SharePoint, this little thing pops up for whatever reason. It's the worst thing in the world. I don't know why we have it. So let's say now group. This is another choice column. So I'm going to say group. And so what groups are these folks a part of? Are they with leadership? Are they with the IT department? Are they with HR? Are they with the finance team? Are they with legal? You know what I mean? That type of stuff. Now, I'm going to continue to go down the line so you don't have to wait on me. I'm going to create a interest field, an influence field, expectations, communication requirements, engagement strategy. I'm creating all these columns. I'm not going to sit here and let you, wait on me to create them, but we're going to do a little magic real quick. Anyway, let me just say, as you create columns in SharePoint, you choose the kind of column you want. Text, choice, date and time, multiple lines of text, person, number, whatever. You choose the kind of column you want that, for the kind of information it'll be tracking. So just know that. Those are the kind of columns I'm creating in here. And you'll see it as when we're done. Okay, good deal. We have finished our list. Let me walk you through it real quick. So you got the stakeholder name that we talked about, stakeholder type, role, group, interest, influence, expectations, communication requirements, engagement strategy, potential impact, key relationships, next action steps, dates. Oh, wait. That should say action steps, date. All right. That's it. Now, we're going to walk through filling one out, and then I'm going to fill out a few more, and then, we'll hop back into this. So there's this button right here called Edit in Grid View. What this allows you to do is to edit the list like it's a spreadsheet. So let me show you. So if I hit Edit in Grid View, I can say the person's name is Stringer Bell. This is an internal person, and their role is to spread that out a little bit. They're on a leadership team, so I'll call them executive sponsor. What group are they on? Leadership, like I said. What else? What is their interest? It's high, and their influence is also high. Expectations. He expects this project to be delivered on time. I'll say, or as close to on time as possible, under budget, and it should help the end users save time. I know that because I spoke to Stringer. That's what he told me he wanted to do, so that's what's going on there. Communication requirements. I am going to say phone calls or weekly phone calls. And then the engagement strategy, I'll say, I'll call weekly, send emails weekly and periodically. Oh, and then I'll say I'll engage in case of something serious. I'll engage, let's say face to face. In case of something serious. So that's that. You know what I mean? Potential impact. I will say critical. They have a critical impact on this. Stringer does, because Stringer is leadership. Now key relationships, I'll say, I know another key, stakeholder I'm going to put in here, Avon, and I'll say interacts a lot with Avon. They meet almost daily. Avon has moderate interest in this project. So the next action steps, what I need to do is, I spoke to him not that long ago and about the project and what was going on, and he was like, after I speak to legal, tell them let him know any legal things that we need to worry about, because he's very concerned with that. I actually should have put that down. But very concerned with legal, so make sure that I let them know what's going on after I speak to them. So call, give him an update after getting the legal read. So that's an action step. And when do I want to take that action step? I'm going to say probably today's the 23rd. Maybe I should have something for him by Monday, the 29th. Or he has told me, don't take longer than a week. I expect to hear something within a week. Or I told him, you know what? I'll probably hear something within a week. So I'll say the 30th is my week. The 30th is my week. So boom. Now I'll just exit the grid view. Once I exit the grid view, there we go. There's all my information sitting there ready and waiting for me. I'll say action steps date. Save this view. All right. Now, next step is a different way to enter this information if you want to. So you can hit this new button. And what does that do? It brings up a form. And look, now I get to go and enter my information in the form. So I'll say the other stakeholder is Avon Barksdale. Just random names here, nothing to see here. Also internal, and their role is, I'll say he's also an executive sponsor because he is, quote, on leadership. His interest is medium. That's the read I got off him. His influence is still high, though. Expectations is, he basically said whatever Stringer wants. Also interested in what legal says, right? I'll say communication requirements are really like touch and go, because he'll really be speaking with Stringer, right? Engagement strategy is low touch, maybe an email every now and then. And the potential impact, also critical because he shut the whole thing down. I'll say talks mostly with Stringer. Action steps, I don't really have any action steps for him. It's going to be, I'll just say none at this time. Because it's going to be Stringer speaking with him. Also, if I had any attachments, like any documents, any PDFs, any Word documents, whatever, spreadsheets, if you got them, you would attach them here. I'm going to hit save. And now, you see, we have 2 stakeholders already, right? Now, one thing that I like to do really quickly is format my view, hit the current view, and I'll just click this. It'll give me alternating rows, right? And so I hit save on that. Boom, good to go. So here are my 2 stakeholders. I'm going to add a few more. We'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, we have our stakeholder list done. Let me show you what's going on here. So we have Stringer Bell, Avon Barksdale, Roland Weebay Bryce, Dennis Wise, also nicknamed Cuddy, Slim Charles, and Rhonda Perlman. So these are all folks who are involved. These are stakeholders. Most are internal. One is external. This is our legal contact, our finance lead, all that type of stuff. And here's all the information about contacting them. And here's all the information about their key relationships and their action steps and all that other stuff. So now that we have our stakeholder list, let me show you a few things that makes this cool or makes this better than putting it on a spreadsheet. So let's say I wanted to see a count of all of my folks. Now obviously I could do that here, create a count. Not a big deal. There's my count. I know I got 6 stakeholders, right? But if I wanted to see all of my internal stakeholders, I could easily just create a filter here, say filter by, say internal, and I hit apply. I'll see all my internal stakeholders. And you see that here, there's a count of 5. Now here's the cool thing. Everything I just showed you, yeah, you could do inside of a spreadsheet, no problem. But I'm going to save this in what is called a view. So I'm going to come down here, save view as, and call this internal. Right? So there's my internal view. I'm on the internal view. I have 5 people. If I wanted to skip back to the all items, then I could do that here and I could see there's 6 total. These are all of my stakeholders. But if I'm interested in just coming to see the internal, I'm coming right here, coming to internal, and I see there's only 5. The reason I'm pointing that out is because if you did that on a spreadsheet, there's all different types of ways that people try to do that on a spreadsheet. One of the main ones is like putting a copy of the first worksheet on a second worksheet, and then deleting out those 4 folks and only having that one, or keeping them all there and I don't know, trying some other strategy. I don't remember. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But the problem is, once you start creating these extra worksheets, you're disconnecting the data. We don't want that. Inside of this, all of the data stays the same. Let me show you real quick what I mean. So let's say that I just got some updated information for, let me open these up. I just got some updated information for okay, none at this time. So right here, this was Avon. Let me first let me save what I just did, because I just opened up those columns, and if I want to keep them saved, I got to do that. So now I'm editing grid view so I could keep this pane frozen over here. So if I'm looking at none at this time, so I said I'm on my internal view, and I have an update for Avon. So Avon, I heard he said that he needs to know if we're staying under cost. I'll let him know that maybe since I plan to have the meeting on June 1st, so maybe I'll let him know by June 2nd. I'll probably have some information there. So I'm going to exit the grid view. My update is there, right? Needs to know if we're staying under cost. Then I'm going to do that on June 2nd. And you can still see my count is 5. Now, if I go back to the all items view, the thing that you don't get in a spreadsheet is that your updates don't stay in sync. So now when I go back to my main view, I could see same thing. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? Like right here, that highlighted item, Avon Barksdale, the same information. It's good to go. Right? Now, if I also, let me show you another feature here. So if I wanted to see all of my action steps on a calendar, I could do that. I could say, hey, I want to create a new view. Click calendar right here. And then I'm just going to call it calendar. Or I'll call it action steps calendar. And I want the month layout. And it knows what my date is because only other dates I have as a choice are created and modified. So action steps date and action steps date are both going to be the start and the end date on my calendar, right? So, and I'm going to make this a public view. And what I want to see on the calendar is the title. Now I can do all types of stuff. I can make all types of changes, but I'm picking the title, and which is the stakeholder name. Remember, we changed the stakeholder name field from title to stakeholder name, but another quirk inside of SharePoint that when you make that update, it doesn't necessarily update it everywhere. See how it says stakeholder name and it says title? I'm keeping it as title. And I'll show you something. So I'm going to hit create. Now look at this. I got a calendar. Let me hide this right here. I got a nice little calendar that shows me my stakeholders. Right? And this tells me on June 1st, I owe Weebay something. What is it? Let me click on it and see it opens a form and it said, oh, my next action steps was to do this. So I need to provide an overview of the project charter at the next in-person meeting. Okay, not a problem. Now, let me show you another little something you can do. As you can see right here, you can make comments. So I could say, I actually spoke to Weebay, and he seems to want to attend every meeting now. I'm not sure why. And I can hit that. So that when the people that I'm sharing this stakeholder register with, they will see my comments. They will see any updates that I'm making. I could have said I made a phone call, talked to him, and I did this, that, and the third. If I wanted to tag somebody, I could hit @. I'm the only one in here for the most part. I could tag me, put in my notes, and hit the arrow, and then the person I tagged would get an email. It would say, hey, this person mentioned you in this comment on this item. Click this link to respond. So you get to do that type of stuff too. It's beautiful. Let me show you something else. So I'm going to go back to my all items view. And I want to show you this feature because I really like it actually. So if I said automate, set a reminder, all of my date columns that I created would show up right here. So I'm going to say set a reminder. I'm going to pick action steps date. Let us do its thing, it's walking itself through. I'm going to hit continue. And I'm going to say get an email reminder. Well, I'm going to change this and say action steps reminder. I want to know about this date in particular. I'm going to say 3 days in advance just to give me some heads up about what it is I got to do. Well, actually 2 days is fine. So I hit create. Now that I created that, I will get an email notification 48 hours, 2 days, whatever, in advance of that date. And it will say action step reminder. And so then I'll click it and be like, oh yeah, I need to provide an overview of the project charter at the next in-person meeting for my man Weebay. You know what I mean? So I get that email notification and I'm like, okay, that's what I need to do. No problem. Let me get on that because now I got 2 days to get that done. You can't do that with Excel. You know what I'm saying? Not today anyway. Maybe eventually the way they sprucing it up, you'll be able to get there. But today, right now, inside of SharePoint, I don't want to say free. I just want to say you already have the tool available at your fingertips. You can do that. Here's one more trick that I want to show you. Another feature. And there's so many to go through, but I'm just giving you the overview. If you so desire that you must absolutely have a spreadsheet, because, maybe your supervisor's like, I need a spreadsheet. Fine. You hit export to Excel, pick this one right here, and then there's your file. So open the file. I'm going to say enable. You make sure that you click enable. I'm going to show you why. So here's your spreadsheet, right? You can send this to someone. You can save this spreadsheet, send it to someone by email, and they'll have everything that they need because so badly they need to have it by email. Okay, cool. Not a problem. Now I want you to pay attention to this right here, this refresh button. What I'm going to do is go back to SharePoint, and I'm going to say Rhonda Perlman. I'm going to say she's a legal contact. She's legal. Her interest has changed to high because now there's some crazy thing happening that she needs to be really involved. I'm going to change her to high. So I'm going to come here, Rhonda Perlman, her interest. I'm going to use the form. I'm going to say she's high. I'm going to save and I'm going to click close. Now, come back to the spreadsheet and I'm going to say refresh the data because look, she says medium right here, right? Let me make it big to make sure you know what I'm talking about. See, it says medium for Rhonda Perlman. All right, I'm going to refresh. Look, change to high. Just like that, in a blink of an eye, you missed it. It changed to high. Why? Because the spreadsheet is still connected to SharePoint. Remember when we hit enable, when we first downloaded? That connected it to SharePoint, right? Or kept it connected to SharePoint. So that even if you take this file and send it to your supervisor, who also has access to your environment, they have it saved, it's on their computer, you can send them that spreadsheet and tell them in the email, hey, make sure that you hit refresh whenever you open this so that you get the latest, greatest information. Or there's a way to set it up to automatically refresh. Cool feature. You're not putting data inside of Excel. You're pulling data from somewhere and reading it through Excel. That's the way to use Excel, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think that's it. That's all I wanted to show you for right now. Yeah. So like I said, there's some more features, but we're going to stop right here because, we can go crazy. But I did show you the things I wanted to show you, how you can use, how you can use a spreadsheet, how you can use a list to track all your stakeholders, how you can show them in different views. Because I showed you one view, but you can create all types of views. You can create private views where only you see them. You can create specific URLs and put them behind buttons so that if you had a page that said internal stakeholders, then you would just put, if you had a page and on that page you had some information and then you made a button that said internal stakeholders, you could put a button there and use the URL that points to the view that says, what is it? That points to the view that says internal stakeholders. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm Thurman. This is the SharePoint Help Desk. I'm so glad that you tuned in to watch this. More videos coming soon. If you want more details on how to do this, on how to run the stakeholder list and how to build your own and get more into details, let me know. And if I need to, then I'll create something more in depth. Also, I'm going to provide the template to this. If you want the template to this list, then go to bio.site/SPHD. That's my website with all the links to the stuff that I do. You'll go there and you'll see Stakeholder Register template. Just go there. It's super free. Matter of fact, free 99. The only thing you got to pay is with an email. So if you got a good email address, jump on there and get yourself that template. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Thurman. Make sure you follow me on LinkedIn, TheRmanTrotman. I post every single day, and I'm going to talk to you later.